We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello, my dear students. Today's lecture topic is Anatomy and Physiology of Stomach. Now, before move on the next slide, just will briefly go through the definition of digestive system, as stomach played a vital role in the digestion, and what are the organs which are associated with this end. Okay, so first of all, what is digestive system? Digestive system describes the alimentary canal, its necessary organs, and variety of digestive processes that prepare the food eaten in diet for the absorption. The major organs which are associated with the digestive systems are mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and rectum, and finally the anal canal. As in today's lecture, we will just go through the stomach in detail. So let's begin with the anatomy of stomach. As we all know that the stomach is most important part of digestive system. So what is stomach? So stomach is a muscular organ located on left side of the upper abdomen. The stomach receives food from the esophagus. The food which we are taking through mouth, that will goes into the stomach through esophagus. As food reaches the end of esophagus, it enters to the stomach through a muscular valve called the lower esophageal sphincter. Now, as we all know that the human body is mainly complicated, so various organs are connected with each other. So mainly the stomach is mainly anteriorly connected with the left lobe of liver and anterior abdominal wall. Posteriorly, it is connected with the abdominal aorta, pancreas, spleen, left kidney, and adrenal gland. Superiorly, it is connected with the diaphragm, esophagus, and left lobe of liver. Inferiorly, it is connected with the transverse colon and small intestine. Left side of the stomach is mainly associated with the diaphragm and spleen, and right side of the stomach is mainly associated with the liver and duodenum. So these are the organs which are mainly associated with the stomach. Now let's go through the morphological structure of stomach. As you can see from the figure, that stomach is mainly divided into 3 regions: the fundus part, the body part, and the pylorus part. The uppermost portion of stomach is called as fundus, the middle portion is called as body part, and the lower part of stomach is called as pylorus. At the distal end of pylorus, the pyloric sphincter, which are guarding the opening between the stomach and the duodenum. When the stomach is inactive, the pyloric sphincter is relaxed and open, and when the stomach contains food, the sphincter is closed. As stomach mainly designed for the chemical and mechanical digestion in the structure, and you can see that the 2 main sphincter which are regulate the food movements are cardiac sphincter and the pyloric sphincter. If you have seen in the previous figure, in which the morphological structure of stomach, they have clearly shown the cardiac sphincter and pyloric sphincter. The cardiac sphincter location is nearer to the esophagus, and the pyloric sphincter location is nearer to the small intestine. Now, stomach contains thick fold called the rag as its layer for providing the larger surface area for expansion, secretion, digestion, and some absorption. The stomach releases the protease and hydrochloric acid, which kills or inhibit the bacteria and provide the acidic pH of 2 for the proteases to work. Food is churned by the stomach through the muscular contraction of the wall called peristalsis, as we known as peristalsis movement. In the next slide, we will see how the hydrochloric acid will be produced by the stomach and what are the function of this hydrochloric acid as well as the stomach. So first we'll see the function of stomach. The major function of stomachs are mainly mechanical function, digestive function, protective function, and hemopoietic function. While in case of mechanical function, 2 main processes are mainly important, that it serves as a storage for the food material, and it also responsible for the formation of chyme. Okay, so first of all, for the storage function, the food is stored in the stomach for long period, let's say for 3 to 4 hours and emptied into the intestine slowly. The maximum capacity of the stomach is up to 1.5 liter. The formation of chyme, that is the event. The peristaltic movement of stomach makes the bolus with gastric juice and convert it into the semisolid material, which is known as the chyme. Now the second function is digestive function. The gastric juice acts mainly on proteins. The proteolytic enzymes of the gastric juice are pepsin and rennin. Gastric juice also contains some other enzymes like gastric lipase, gelatinase, urease and gastric amylase. These are the enzymes which are responsible for the various kind of food materials which will be digested by with the help of this enzyme. For example, pepsin is an enzyme which is mainly responsible for the lysis of proteins, in which the end product will be proteases, peptones on polypeptides. Likewise, the other enzymes which are present in the stomach which played a role for the digestion of various substrates and which will lead to the end product. The another major function of stomach, you can say, that is protective function. In this protective function, the main function is function of mucus. It mainly protects the stomach wall from the irritation or the mechanical injury by the virtue of its high viscosity. The second is they prevent the digestive action of pepsin on the wall of stomach, particularly gastric mucosa, and protect the gastric mucosa from hydrochloric acid of gastric juice because of its alkaline nature and its acid combining power. So the mucus majorly played a vital role for the protection against gastric acid. The ulceration mainly, as we know in day-to-day life, that gastritis, that is mainly the inflammation of stomach. Majorly the another terminology, that is ulcer, that is because of high acidic content into the stomach. If the acid content will be high in the stomach, it produces ulcer into the stomach and person will not be able to eat the food. So mucus played a vital role. It served as a protective layer for the stomach and it protect against the excess acid. The fourth function is hemopoietic function. The stomach is mainly necessary for the absorption of vitamin B12 from GI tract into the blood. As we all know that the vitamin B12 is important factor for the process of erythropoiesis, that is the formation of RBC. Till now we have just go through the structural anatomy and function of the stomach. Now we'll move ahead with the other part of the stomach. As we know that in stomach mainly the gastric juice is present, which played major role. So what are the properties, composition and function of gastric juice, that will be seen in the upcoming slide. So first of all, what is the property of gastric juice? So gastric juice is a mixture of secretion from the different gastric glands. The properties of gastric juice mainly includes the volume, which is per day around 1 to 2 liter. Reaction is mainly gastric juice is highly acidic with the pH of 0.9 to 1.2. The acidity of gastric juice is due to the presence of hydrochloric acid. The specific gravity is around 1 to 1.004. From this slide you can see the composition of gastric juice. It mainly divided into two parts, that is water and solid. Water, it contains 99.5%, and solid is mainly around 0.5%. In solid, again they are divided into two parts, that is organic substances and inorganic substances. Again, inorganic substances, the major two parts are enzymes and the other organic substances. So enzymes are mainly, as we have already discussed in previous slide, that is pepsin, rennin, gastric lipase, gelatinase and urease, which are the enzymes which mainly responsible for the various substrates which leads to the lysis in various form. While in the other organic substance, they are mainly mucus and intrinsic factor. As we have seen in the previous slide, that the mucus is the protective layer which serve as a barrier against the gastric acid secretion. While in case of inorganic substances, these are the hydrochloric acid, sodium, calcium, potassium, bicarbonate, chloride, phosphate and sulfate. So this is the composition of gastric juice. The four major types of secretory epithelial cells which cover the surface of stomach and extend down into the gastric pits and glands, and these cells are mainly chief cell, parietal cell, mucus cell and G cell. The chief cell is mainly responsible for secretion of pepsinogen. Parietal cell mainly secretes the hydrochloric acid and intrinsic factor, that is which helps in the absorption of vitamin B12 in the intestine. mucus cell which secretes the mucus and alkaline substances to help to neutralize acid in the gastric juice, and G cell which secretes hormone called gastrin which stimulate the parietal cell and overall gastric cell. The blood supply to the stomach is mainly through the right gastroepiploic artery, left gastroepiploic artery, gastric artery, while the venous drainage is mainly done to the gastric vein. The regulation of gastric secretion is regulated by both the nervous and hormonal mechanisms. The neural mechanism involves the reflexes which are integrated within the medulla oblongata and local reflexes integrated within the enteric plexus of GI tract, while the chemical signals that regulate the stomach secretion include the hormones gastrin, secretin, gastric inhibitory polypeptide and cholecystokinin, as well as the paracrine chemical signal, that is histamine. So from this slide we can say that the regulation of gastric secretion is mainly governed or regulated by both the nervous as well as the hormonal mechanism, that is the autonomic reflexes and the various hormones which plays a vital role in the regulation of gastric acid secretion. As you can see from this table, these are the various functions of gastrointestinal hormones, that is gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin and gastric inhibitory polypeptides. Let's say for gastrin, that is mainly present in the stomach and duodenum. Its secretory effects, it mainly increase the gastric secretion and it mainly responsible for increases the gastric emptying by increasing the stomach motility and relax the pyloric sphincter. Likewise, there are the various functions of other enzymes which are mainly responsible in the gastric region, that are the secretin, cholecystokinin, gastric inhibitory polypeptides. So these are the various enzymes which are responsible for the various processes in the gastric region. Now, what is the mechanism of HCl production? As we all know that the HCl production is mainly done by the parietal cell in gastric gland of stomach. So for that we require hydrogen ion and chloride ions. So first of all, hydrogen ion are derived from carbon dioxide and water which enters into the parietal cell from its serosal surface, as you can see in the figure, which is the side opposite to the lumen of this gastric pit. So first of all, the carbon dioxide diffuses into the cell from blood vessels into the parietal cell. Now this carbon dioxide is combined with the water in an enzymatic reaction, that is catalyzed by the carbonic anhydrase to form the carbonic acid. Now again this carbonic acid will lead to the dissociate into the bicarbonate ion and hydrogen ion. Now the hydrogen ion is available for the reactions. Now this bicarbonate ion will goes into the again bloodstream with the exchange of chloride ion. As we know that we required chloride ion also for the formation of hydrochloric acid. So bicarbonate ion will transport it back into the bloodstream with the exchange of chloride ion with the help of counter transport mechanism. Now this hydrogen ion is actively transported into the duct of gastric gland, that is the most inner part of stomach, and again chloride ion is diffused with the charged hydrogen ions as because of the intracellular negative pressure. During this process, some of the potassium ions and sodium ions are also exchanged with the hydrogen ion and chloride ion for the formation of hydrochloric acid with the help of various counter transport mechanism and also the ATPase enzyme. So what is the importance of this HCl? It has mainly bactericidal effect. It also activates the pepsinogen to pepsin. As we know that the stomach acid also denatures many proteins so that the proteolytic enzymes can reach on the internal peptide bonds, and it provides the proper pH environment for the function of pepsin. It also helps in the iron absorption, and it also stimulates the bile and pancreatic juice secretion. So this is all about the production and mechanism of HCl production and what are the important function of HCl. Now moving ahead with the last session of lecture, that is the secretion of gastric juice. There are mainly three phases for the secretion of gastric juice, that are cephalic phase, gastric phase and intestinal phase, as you can see in the figure. In the cephalic phase, the vagus nerve, mainly the importance of vagus nerves will be there. In gastric phase, that is mainly the importance of gastrin enzyme will be there. And in third and last phase, the secretion of cholecystokinin, the importance of various enzymes will be there in the intestinal phase. Now we'll understand each and every phase in detail. The first phase is cephalic phase. You can also call this reflex phase. So the cephalic phase, or you can say reflex phase, of gastric secretion occurs before the food enters into the stomach, especially while it is being eaten. It results from the slight sight, smell, thought or taste of food, and the greater the appetite, the more the intense is the stimulation. As you can see in the figure, the taste or smell of food, tactile sensation of food in the mouth, or even thoughts of food stimulate the medulla oblongata, that is in green color. It activates the parasympathetic action potentials which will be carried out by the vagus nerve to the stomach, that is mainly denoted to the pink arrow. In third step, the preganglionic parasympathetic vagus nerve fibers stimulate the postganglionic neurons in the enteric plexus of stomach. Now this will stimulate the postganglionic neuron, which stimulate the secretion by the parietal cell and chief cell. As we can see in our previous slide, these are the cells which are presented in the stomach, and they stimulate the gastrin secretion by the endocrine cell. Now this gastrin enzyme is mainly responsible for the stimulation of gastric acid secretion. Now this gastrin is carried out through the circulation back into the stomach, that is in purple arrow, where it stimulates the secretion by the parietal cell and the chief cell. So here mainly the stimulation of vagus nerves and the parasympathetic nerve systems will be carried out, and they will again stimulate the gastrin enzyme. Now we're moving ahead with the gastric phase. Once the food enters into the stomach, with the help of various neuronal and hormonal mechanisms, the secretion of gastrin will be there. The stomach wall stretches, which triggers the stretch receptors to send nerve impulses along with the vagus nerve to the medulla oblongata. As you can see from the figure also, the vagus nerve stimulation will also connected with the medulla oblongata, which is denoted with the green arrow. Now this medulla oblongata will stimulate the stomach secretion, and it leads to the distension of stomach, which also activates the various local reflexes, and that increases the stomach secretion for the digestion of food. The last one phase is intestinal phase. Now when the partially digested content of stomach food reaches into the small intestine, the two major hormones, that is secretin and cholecystokinin, are produced by the endocrine cell in the intestinal mucosa. Now they slow down the secretion of gastric juice and reduces the gastric motility. As we have seen in the previous two phases, that is in cephalic phase and gastric phase, the more and more gastrin enzyme will be secreted, and the more and more production of HCl will be there. While in this phase, the production of gastric juice will be slowed down, and it reduces the gastric motility. By slowing the emptying rate of stomach, the chyme in the duodenum becomes more thoroughly mixed with the bile and pancreatic juice. This phase of gastric secretion is mostly marked following meal with the high fat content. The rate at which the stomach empties depends largely on the type of food eaten. A carbohydrate meal leaves the stomach in 2 to 3 hours, a protein meal remains longer, and the fatty meal remains in the stomach longest. The fatty acid and the certain other lipids in the duodenum and the proximal jejunum initiate the release of two hormones, that is gastric inhibitory polypeptides and cholecystokinin. Now this gastric inhibitory polypeptide strongly inhibits the gastric secretion, and cholecystokinin inhibits the gastric secretion to the lesser degree. So these mainly three phases are interconnected with the various enzymes, which are gastric stimulatory enzymes and gastric inhibitory enzymes. So in today's lecture, what we have learned the structural anatomy and functions of stomach. What are the mechanism of regulation of gastric juice, and what is the mechanism of HCl production, and what is the composition of gastric juice. So out of this topic, these are the questions which can be asked, that is, give the composition and mechanism of secretion of gastric juice, write in detail the acid production in stomach and its regulation, and write the anatomy and function of stomach in detail. These are the references which you can refer for the detail of this topic. Thank you.